Hey, we're back at it. Thought I'd give you guys a quick update video here. Get the camera switched around. So, I guess I should have brought some light. Durango engine. Bearings are looking a little dirty. They're not 100% terrible, but I don't know if you can see. Yeah, should be able to. Right there. So they're eating away, not in a complete circle. So it could be something with the firing, timing. I suppose it's not a boost to the engine. It could be something machining wise, could be just bearings not being straight or completely round. There is a couple of them with the brass showing. It's not terrible, but you can see it right there. So, Federal Mogul bearings, they was replaced in 04, or at least that's the manufacturer date on them. And just to get you guys set up here, that may help a little bit. Yeah. Bearing here. I know the camera will focus on that, but so you can see 0404 right there. FM, I'm going to assume stands for Federal Mogul. You got a part number, says it's 10,000ths undersize. And then I'm not sure what the 591V means. Not important, but you got your year, maybe a month. Don't know why it says 04 on there twice. 10,000ths undersize. And then you got your brand. So it was the same thing on the rod bearings. Everything was turned 1010. It's also etched into the crank. So it will need rod bearings. Also gonna need crank bearings, because when you set them in here, they should not necessarily snap down in, but seat in nice and stiff, and then they don't. They just run back and forth. So I have grabbed a standard size bearing, used one, and already test fit it in the block, and it does fit nice and tight, a lot better than these ones. So maybe it was manufacturing defect of some sort. Not totally sure. So if we go on, yeah, the camera mount's moving. Come over here to where the cylinder head is. Put you on the tripod there. Turn on some light. Might be a little bit too much. Get a look at my belly. Look at my belly. Maybe that'll work. Cylinder head here. I have been measuring the installed seat height, or installed height of the spring is 1.8-ish. A little more, a little less, depending on which spot you're at. One thing I was wanting to here. So, we got all the valves out. This one here is in there. So I was using it lasts to measure with. I do have the valve stem seal off. You are able to get those off in one piece. If anything you do pry it apart or something, all you got to do is take a pair of pliers and pinch that back together a little bit if you want to reuse them. When I was pulling the valves out, hopefully that will come out. Yep. So you see how dirty that is. Well, the carbonate was on it. So these are some of the pieces that fell out off of the valve. And you've got some gnarly crap. And some of them pretty daggone thick. I mean, I don't know, camera focus on that or not. Yeah, that thick piece of carbon. It'll lose into some horse ponies there. Nothing here. You can see it still has it. Forgot I had that valve sitting there. And maybe it would have came off after many years of sitting. Maybe it would have just came off during the first initial start and rev, or at least after several minutes of running. Could have possibly got down into the cylinder, stuff like that. So let's go ahead, flip back around here. Alright, so valve, try not to get these mixed up too much, even though the cylinder head is going to have to go to the machine shop. Did get them cleaned up. Do want to go over these. I have not CC'd them. I've checked the spring install height. Checked the spring install height tension. Spring load. Whatever you may want to call it. How much load is on the spring. I've got a gauge for that. If you build any type of performance engine, it's nice to have, especially if you're doing a big old cam, or if you're doing engine building for other people. That way you know what you're doing. You can put your word behind your work. So anyways, if we can get plenty of light here. Yeah, moved in maybe. Maybe not. Yeah, so you can see I like the way these are shaped. So they don't come directly up and out right here. There is a little bit of a angle already to them. On this intake one, it goes back a little bit to open it up. So I like the idea on that versus a stock iron head. Either way, whether it's stock or not, so it is closed chamber. Everything is closed off except for where the valves are, and airflow is needed to make airflow work and give you the horsepowers. It does look beautiful. The inside of the chambers here look really good. Trying to find the optimum angle without having to hold the camera every time. Probably not going to happen though. flipped around. We'll just go directly into the chamber here. So that there is the intake port. You can see where the rocker arm stud protrudes into the chamber right there. So it does that on every intake chamber, intake port. You can see it there. Comes up and out. See some CNCing just to make the ports kind of match here, just on the entryway. That should have been a little bit further, I would have done. So I'll come in and I'll clean that up. You can see that little rough line right there. Rubbing my fingernail on. Come through, clean that up a little bit. I may open these up just a little bit. Won't be a whole lot. Not as much as what I would do on a set of iron heads. My light does not stick to an aluminum head. I don't know why my camera mount wants to just swivel all around. So there we go. Other direction. Not too bright with the light, I hope. You can see how well that is opened up. Has a nice flow transition coming up this way. Yeah, that light just don't work the best without sticking it against something. I don't know if the camera does these sides justice. Not bad though. Yeah. You can see some bird down in there. I'm gonna call them bird. You can call them whatever you want. The exhaust side looking pretty good. So overall, not bad. It does have a 3-angle valve job. See how dirty some of those valve seats are. That in there really don't even have a clean spot on it. So get a valve job. I'll have them check for straightness. Check for straightness. Got to go through. I just found a piece of flash. I'm gonna show that. Around the spark plug hole. Check that baby out. That's a large one. Somebody didn't look at these before they packed them in a box 20 years ago. I think it would be 20 years. So if the bearings were dated 04, that's 2025. Yeah, so roughly 20 years. So we got this cylinder head here. This is what I'm going to say is the culprit for kneading machine work, for the most part. Let's see. This daggone mount. Maybe I just had to loosen the things. Yeah, it looks like you can see everything here. At least for now. Sit up. I get dizzy thinking I'm drunk or something. Well, I ain't drank in years. So, your exhaust ports, the bolt holes. There's no helicoil in these two. Then you go over. You're not going to be able to see it on camera, but 3, maybe 4 threads down, the threads start to open up. This in here, I don't. Yeah. So you can see That sticks out of the head. Not so worried about, see how messed up it around that exhaust port. Not so worried on that part. Gasket will seal that, I'm sure. I don't have any worries on that. So every single one of these holes. These two, missing the helicoil. Probably have time certs put in. That way they're alright. May or may not have to do oversized ones on these. Don't know. I'll let the machine shop make that call when they go to do it. I'm not going to mess with that part. I could. I just don't feel like it, and seeing that they got to go to the machine shop anyways. Have that all just taken care of there. Shouldn't cost too much extra. Same thing here. All 6 of these holes messed up. I presume the same thing on these ones. This one here is not exactly protruding out, but it's messing a little bit around the edge here. That and there don't feel great. So these exhaust stud holes or bolt holes is all because of ARP bolts and the idiot that put them in. So you can see the ARP on it right there. These bolts is only maybe 3/4 of an inch, if that. You got a 3/8 flange on the header to bolt on here, and then you've got however thick the gasket is. By the time you put a 3/8 flange on there, I showed you in a previous video, maybe these are only 5/8 long, so you've only got that many threads sticking out. Then you got a gasket, you're only putting 3 or 4 threads of this crap bolt into your cylinder head for your manifold. Don't do it. It's stupid. To get back to things though, let's see. Better in light in case you didn't watch the previous videos. You can see how offset the rocker was. Because they had 1.7 ratio rockers on here and stock length push rods. Not supposed to be like that. Fortunately, the valve stems do feel good. They don't feel wallered out. A couple of them's just a little bit loose, but sometimes, depending on what tolerances are, I don't know what they are on the aluminum heads, so it's probably okay, but they do come out real tight. So around your lip right here, that top lip, on every single one of them that I pulled out, I thought I left one out that still had some of that dirt on it. Or not dirt, but the bronze valve guide. There's material on that. So, machine shop both heads. Hopefully I don't have too much money into that. But whatever I spend is probably going to be less than buying 2 more heads. I'll be able to put these on the Ram 50 race truck. Once they come back, and go from there. So get them ETs a little down, get some better airflow out of these heads than a stock iron head that have been ported fairly heavily, but not as much as these. And these have a 202 intake valve and the 1.6 exhaust valve, so we'll be able to get that taken care of. Get them horse purrs into the higher range. And be making them peppers. Do some big old smoky burnouts. So stick around, guys. You'll see what's going on next. As far as the engine block itself, I think I'm just going to slap everything back together. Mainly was wanting to pull the pistons out because of how much carbon was in there. Make sure the rings are free, and pulled the oil pan off just to pull the pistons out, but to also check the bearings. So needs bearings. Could probably save the rings. The top ring is stuck on at least 7 of them, so I do got to clean those up. But I think I'm just going to slap it back together. Probably go ahead and clean them rings up. That way they do contract and expand until I am ready to go through that engine. Maybe rebuild that and put some money into it and sell it and try to recoup that money. Don't think I'll do much else with it. It is a bored engine, so it is 10 or 15 thou over. It is bigger, that's for sure. I did measure the pistons, measured the cylinder walls. They're not stock size, they are bigger. Not a full 30 thou or anything nicer like that, but yeah. So video is longer than what I planned on. So stick around, we'll see you guys next time. Y'all have a good one. Thank you for watching.